In this presentation we'll be having a look at the writing system section of the Palaso Library. Some of its features include a shared repository of writing systems. This is currently implemented with the folder data mapper. We provide a folder data mapper that writes LDML to XML files in a folder. We have the file data mapper that embeds LDML in an existing XML file. We have a Windows Forms UI implementation that can be used quite easily. I understand that it probably won't be suitable for all situations, which is why we have separated out the UI from the non-UI components. The file format's based on LDML plus extensions. We have a toolbox collation mapper to LDML, so toolbox can still be represented in LDML, and that's a two-way transform. And finally, it's cross-platform. It works on Windows and Ubuntu. Okay, let's have a look at what you get. We'll start with Windows. This is the writing systems editor. It's actually just a very, very small wrapper around the Palaso Library and amounts to effectively a one-line application. We provide the general information about writing systems, just an abbreviation that might be used in display, its name, or EM, its ISO code, and an ISO lookup gizmo. And we're looking for English. There we go, English. Okay. Now we should have a ISO 15924 lookup here, but currently we don't. It's implemented in the non-UI section, we just haven't put it into the UI yet. It's in the to-do list. Spelling, if there's a spell checker enabled. Fonts, pick a font. This is just a default font. It's not saying you must use this font with this writing system, but certainly in the non-Roman context, it's nice to have a clue as to which font you should be used in the absence of any other information. Keyboarding, that could be used to automatically switch if you had an application that wanted to do that sort of thing. And finally, the sorting is simple shoebox style rules, custom ICU rules, or you can sort it the same as another language. That uses the OS provided sort. That uses ICU4, and the custom shoebox rules, that uses ICU4 as it happens as well. The appeal of this being a library is that if you add it here and it stores it to its global repository, then it will be available for use in another program. So let's have a look at that in action. So we go add, we'll create a new writing system called the XX writing system. Its name is XX and whatever. Close that. Now we switch into an application that uses the writing system library. Palaso uses that, so click that. Okay, now this is using the writing system picker, and we can see that XX is there already. If we go to set up writing systems, we can see that XX is here as well, and we can continue to edit it here. And so it's some Thai script for fun. And there we go, we can see the changes that we made in Solid. The editor is cross-platform. The Palaso Library is built for Windows and Linux, and we've got the little WS Edit application in Linux too, so let's have a look at it here. Okay, and it's very much the same sort of thing. Same ISO code lookup. that sort of thing, similar dialogues. Now let's look at using the library. Launching the stock dialog is pretty trivial. You just launch the dialog. It's the writing system properties dialog. So we'll start looking at how you use the non-UI components. The library is split into two parts, where we have the Palaso UI system, which is the Windows Managed Forms UI. So we have the writing system's UI components here, and we have the non-UI components up here. So here we're using the presentation model sort of thing. So we'll go to the presentation model save, see what that has to say. Okay. That's called the writing system store save. Let's have a look at that. Okay, we have a iWriting system store interface. Okay, now we'd probably call that the iWriting system repository. It's a repository of writing systems, represents a collection, and we'll have a look at that now. Okay, very repository-like interface. It's got the ability to set T. You can get T, that sort of thing. So we set writing system definitions, we can get writing system definitions, we can check whether they exist, we can get a count and create a new one, and so on and so on. We can get an enumerable of the whole collection. A few extras. Making a duplicate. We decided that that was quite a nice feature if you've got a complex writing system definition with rather substantial sort or order or collation rules perhaps. Being able to copy it just for a few small changes is sometimes useful. Now let's have a look at the writing system definition itself. Here are the few sort rules. Sort rule types, the custom, simple, ICU, and so on. Other than that, it really is just a collection of the properties that you'd expect to find in a writing system. And finally, up here is the LDML adapter. Is actually really an LDML data mapper, is probably a better name for it. And this reads and writes the writing system model to the LDML. That was the quick 1-minute guided tour to the writing system library. It's not as comprehensive as we'd like. There's a number of things on the to-do list. For example, the ISO 15924 script options, we actually have them implemented. They're embedded as a resource, but we don't actually have any UI that uses them yet. It's just something to do. The stock UI needs improving. We're very light on validation. It's not well done at all. And we need to start the standards process with regards to our extensions to LDML, so that we can start from a common base that this is the file format that we use, and this is the API implementation that operates on the standard file.